My name is Joe. If you drive past my shop on Route 9, you won't see much. Just a corrugated metal roof, a pile of old tires, and a sign that says, radiators and brakes. I wear a jumpsuit that hasn't been blue since 1995. It's black with grease. My hands are rough like sandpaper. People look at me and see a failure. They see a guy who changes oil for $20. That's fine. I like it that way. They don't know that 30 years ago, I lived in Modena, Italy. They don't know I was the lead powertrain engineer for the Project X division. I didn't just fix cars. I birthed them. I retired because I got tired of the suits. I wanted to work with my hands again. I thought I left that life behind. Until last Tuesday. It was 2 p.m. Hot. The air shimmered off the asphalt. Then I heard it. Not a normal engine. A high-pitched whine followed by a guttural roar. A V12 naturally aspirated engine. I didn't need to look up. I knew the firing order just by the sound. A bright red Velocita Hyperion. They only made 20 of them. And the guy driving it was revving it like an idiot at the stoplight. The car pulled into my lot. Not because the driver wanted to, but because steam was hissing from under the hood. The driver got out. He was a kid, maybe 22. Expensive sunglasses, skinny jeans, white sneakers that had never touched dirt. His name was Julian. I'd seen him on social media, one of those crypto influencers. He was shouting into his phone. "I don't care! Send the chopper! The car is overheating in the middle of nowhere!" He hung up and looked at my shop with disgust. He looked at me wiping my hands on a rag. I walked over. I could smell the coolant, sweet and acrid. "Thermostat stuck," I said. "You pushed it too hard while the oil was cold." I reached for the hood release latch. "Pop the hood. I can bypass the valve in 5 minutes so you can get home." Julian slapped my hand away. "Don't touch it!" he screamed. He stepped in front of the car, guarding it. "Are you crazy? Do you know what this paint costs? It's carbon weave. One scratch from those greasy paws, and you're working for me for the rest of your life." I stopped. I looked at my hands. Then I looked at him. "Kid, the engine is cooking. You need to let the heat out." "I'm not letting a roadside grease monkey touch a $3 million machine," Julian sneered. "I called the official dealership support. They're sending a flatbed and a technician. You just stand back and don't breathe on it." He reached into his pocket, pulled out a crumpled $100 bill, and flicked it at my chest. It fell into the dirt. "Go buy some soap," he said. "You look like you rolled in a ditch." I didn't pick up the money. I just stepped back, sat on my old plastic lawn chair, and opened a soda. "Suit yourself," I said. "But don't turn it off. If you turn it off now, the heat soak will trigger the safety lockout." "Shut up," Julian said, and he turned the engine off. Silence. Then, a series of loud ticks as the metal expanded. "Bad move," I whispered to myself. 40 minutes later, a sleek black van arrived. "Velocita concierge service?" 2 guys in pristine white jumpsuits jumped out. They had tablets and diagnostic laptops. They treated Julian like a king. "So sorry, sir. We'll get you moving." They plugged the laptop into the OBD port under the dash. They frowned. They typed something, frowned again. Julian tapped his foot. "Well, what is it?" The lead tech, a guy named Mike, looked nervous. Sir, the car is in creator mode lockout. The sensors detected a critical heat spike after shutdown. It thinks the block is cracked. So reset it, Julian yelled. We can't, Mike said. This is a prototype engine block. The software requires a biometric override or a manual code from the original engineering team. The system is asking for an admin key. Julian lost it. I bought the car. I am the admin. Not for the engine core, sir. That's proprietary. We need to tow it to the HQ. It will take weeks to get the codes from Italy. I was watching them from 10 feet away. I finished my soda. It's not a cracked block, I called out. It's the bypass sensor on cylinder 7. It thinks the water pump failed. Mike, the tech, looked at me. Excuse me? The sensor, I said, staying in my chair. It's a Hall effect sensor. It gets glitchy above 230 degrees. You don't need a laptop. You need a 10mm socket and a paperclip to jump the relay. Julian laughed. Mike, tell this old hobo to stop talking. But Mike wasn't laughing. He was looking at the back of the engine bay. Then he looked at me. Then he looked at the specific way I had modified the intake manifold on my own truck parked nearby. Mike walked over to me. He looked at the name stitched on my dirty pocket. Joe. His eyes went wide. Joe? He asked. Joseph Vance? Just Joe, I said. You wrote the service manual for this chassis, Mike stammered. We studied your schematics in training. Legend says you designed the V12 intake by hand. Mike turned to Julian. Sir, Mike said, his voice serious. We can't fix your car. We don't have the clearance. What? Julian screamed. But he does. Mike pointed at me. That's Joseph Vance. He built the engine. Julian looked at me. He looked at his $100 bill still lying in the dirt. He looked at his dead supercar. He walked over. The arrogance was shaking, but it was still there. Okay, Julian said. Fine. You're the guy? Fix it. I'll pay you double whatever the dealership charges. I didn't move. No, I said. What do you mean no? I'm offering you $5,000 for 10 minutes of work. My hands are too dirty, I said. Remember? I might scratch the paint. Look, I'm sorry about that, Julian said quickly. Just fix the car. I stood up. I wiped my hands on a rag, but they stayed black. You want this car running? I asked. Yes, I have a launch party in 2 hours. Okay, I'll guide the repair. But I won't touch the car. Julian looked confused. Then who will? You will, I said. Me? Julian stepped back. I don't do mechanics. I have a suit on. Then you're walking home, I said. The tech guys can't help you. I'm the only one who knows the manual bypass sequence. Either you pick up the wrench, or the car stays here until it rots. Julian looked at Mike. Mike shrugged. He's right, sir. Only he knows the sequence. Julian groaned. He took off his $5,000 jacket. He unbuttoned his cuffs. Fine. Tell me what to do. Get on your knees, I said. The ground is filthy. So is the work. Knees. Now. He knelt in the gravel. Reach under the intake manifold. It's hot, so be careful. Do you feel a small rubber hose? Ouch! Yes! It's burning! Stop whining. Pull the hose off. It's going to spray hot coolant. Don't flinch. Pshh! Green fluid exploded over Julian's white shirt. He screamed. My shirt! This is Italian silk! Now it's a rag, I said. Grab the 10mm wrench from my toolbox. Find the bolt behind the alternator. For the next hour, I ran him like a dog. I made him reach into tight spaces where the metal scraped his knuckles. I made him crank bolts until his forearm muscles shook. His face was smeared with black grease. His knuckles were bleeding. He was sweating like a pig. He cursed me. He hated me. But he did it. Okay, I said finally. The sensor is bypassed. The computer thinks everything is cool. Get in. Julian stood up. He looked like a wreck. He was breathing heavy. He got into the driver's seat. He pressed the start button. Vroom. The V12 barked to life, smooth idle, no warning lights. The tech guys packed up and left. Julian sat in the car for a minute, revving the engine lightly. He got out. He looked at his ruined clothes. He looked at his blackened hands. He tried to wipe them on his pants, but it just smeared. He walked over to me. He reached for his wallet again. Put it away, I said. But I owe you, he said. He wasn't shouting anymore. His voice was tired. You fixed it, I said. I just talked. I ruined my clothes, he said, looking down. You can buy new clothes, I said, but you can't buy what you just learned. What's that? How things work, I said. It's easy to drive fast when someone else turns the wrench. Different feeling when it's your own blood on the bolt, isn't it? Julian looked at his bleeding knuckles. He flexed his hand. For the first time, he didn't look like a rich kid. He looked like a guy who just worked. He didn't offer me money. He stuck out his hand. It was covered in oil, grease, and dirt. Thanks, Joe, he said. I shook it. My grip was hard. His was slippery, but firm. Get out of here, I said, and change your oil every 3,000 miles. Don't trust the manual. He drove off. I looked at the $100 bill still sitting in the dirt. I left it there. I went back to my chair and opened another soda. The quiet was nice, but the sound of that V12 running perfect, that was better.